Welcome to Entrepreneurial Entrails for some short stories on the guts and glories of being an entrepreneur.
Short people got no reason. Short people got no reason.
Hey, it's Elizabeth with Entrepreneurial Entrails, and today is Ballsy in review. Not a dirty word. It's the name of the networking group I have for women in entrepreneurship. Nothing wrong with you men, but sometimes we women need to chitty chat. So this week we covered a variety of topics. It was just the two of us in the summer. You know what? It's going to be a challenge. But the fantastic thing is, even with two people, it's one more brain than you had before to talk about your business and see what's going on with them. This time it was an interesting conversation between my friend Noreen and I. And one of the things that Noreen's dealing with right now is staffing, which a lot of people deal with. I'm not there yet, but I have had staff work for me when I was an employee. And one of the things that came up was the importance of downloading your brain. If you are the owner of a business, it can be extremely challenging to onboard new people if you haven't taken the time to download your brain and create processes around what you know. So one of the sort of exercises, and I'm using air quotes, that we did was to discuss, how Noreen learned what she learned. What that did was it not only gave her an appreciation for how much she knows, because she's phenomenally intelligent about the industry that she works in, but it also gave her an appreciation for how creating a process and creating a profile of who she is and what she does can then help her develop a process and a job description. It also helps narrow the places that she should be looking for employees. And so this was one of the conversations that came up because her industry is so specific. So PowerVac Services does abatement and air quality testing and removes vermiculite and asbestos, and that's chipping at the iceberg of what they do. And of course my experience is rather limited, so I can't speak intelligently about what she does, but anyway, she can, which is the point. So one of the things we started talking about was places where she can go to find people, and how people who are already skilled in the trades, for an example, would be ahead of the curve in the hiring process because they would already have the fundamentals of construction and what have you that she needs them to have. So I made some recommendations to her based on my experiences and the fact that my husband's a millwright and a now third-year electrical apprentice, that might be a place to start. So that was one of the advantages of us sitting down and meeting this week, was Noreen hadn't considered that before. And I think this is one of the things that I'm really looking forward to getting out of the group, is these sort of disparate thoughts that when you're knee deep in a situation, you have only your experience to go by. And a group like Ballsy allows you to take advantage of a variety of experience levels and what have you, so that you can have aha moments like this. So we talked about growth goals and the importance of setting a few of them anyway. And that can be overwhelming because you think, I'm stuck, and if I don't achieve those, it's a failure and what have you. And to me, that's not true. A growth goal just gives you something to work towards. So when you are potentially, from a communications consultant perspective, if you are looking at your communication strategy, your social media strategy, or even if you're looking at your risk management strategy, your fundamental process development, those types of things, it gives you a target to focus on. Just creating growth goals for the sake of, I don't know, I want to say shits and giggles. To me, you're not going to buy into them. You're not going to work towards them. You're not going to allocate the resources that are necessary to achieve the goals. And even if they change along the way, at least you've taken steps forward versus continuing to make lateral moves that don't necessarily, it's not that they don't contribute to the business, because, any movement, hopefully forward, is positive. Lateral, however, I think inhibits your overall opportunity to achieve anything. So what we ended up also talking about was Simon Sinek, which was, I think it's called Leading from Why. And I'm going to Google that because that's bugging me that I can't remember. And I watched a TED Talk by Simon Sinek. It was just fantastic. And it was such a simple principle that when you lead from why, you definitely, I'm sorry, you can hear me typing here, that you definitely, I think, have a much clearer understanding of what you're trying to achieve. And it's much more relatable to people because you have a, oh, look at this. My Googling skills have gone to the crapper here. Sorry, you lead, here we go, start with why. I've looked up, I've watched his TED Talk. It was fantastic. And it's only, I think, 5-10 minutes. Like, it's not a huge investment of time, but the value that you get out of it is fantastic. And so Noreen currently has the book, which of course makes me very excited because I haven't read his book yet. And it's definitely on my list of things to take advantage of. And she already does lead from why. And it was an interesting conversation because one of the chief things that she asks her clients when she meets with them, and she'll go in and do an estimation on jobs that are anywhere from, a domestic job of, between $2,000 and $5,000 all the way up to jobs that are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. But the question is, relatively the same. How can I help you? What do you need me to do? She doesn't want to guess. She doesn't want to make recommendations and that don't fit what the client's looking for. And you'd think most businesses do that, and they might in some way or another, but I can assure you that she's truthful in asking that question. And I think that's the key differentiator. And that's where Simon Sinek's, start from why really comes together here. And I do that as well. My chief goal when I'm meeting with somebody is to determine the best way I can help you, the most affordable way I can help you. Not a plug for me, but a little bit. Do you need any paid accounts for your social media, or is free the best option for you? Fantastic. Let's look at that. It comes back to tools and making sure that you are authentically offering the best services to help people. So that was a really nice part of our conversation, is that I think she discovered, because she hadn't read the book yet, that she is already starting with why. But this will also help her messaging going forward when she's relating to people. And an interesting thing about Noreen's business and a lot of businesses is that when you're dealing with something that affects the security of somebody's home, right? So Noreen can get into situations where somebody's purchased a home and they discover they have asbestos tile in the house, that they have vermiculite in the walls, that they have a variety of toxic and carcinogen materials that are taking up space where they breathe and live and their kids are playing and what have you. When you start to affect the fundamental foundation of people's safety, and you're the one that has to come in and fix this situation, your messaging does have to change. It does have to be one of reassurance and confirmation that you have the skills and the experience and the tools to allay their fears and handle this job in the most effective, safest way possible. And it's looking at those pieces that affects your fundamental messaging and really reinforces the why of what you do. So it was another great session with Ballsy. We're going to keep going, even if it's, Noreen and I meeting for breakfast and having a little chinwag. So far, every meeting, it's been fantastic. And I can't wait to continue. And when everybody comes back from vacation and gets back on track, I can only see the group getting better and more things being shared and more things being learned. So this is our summing it up. Is the language that you use for your audience. Try and keep in mind what you do for your industry, and are there any underlying emotions that you're dealing with your audience. And like Noreen, it's fear. For me, it's usually just unknown, or people dismiss communications as an important part of their business plan until it's too late and they're trying to use social media to save their business, which from me to you, not a good strategy. Then, developing your processes. So downloading your brain so that, when it's time to grow, which is fantastic, you have those processes in place. You have a way to onboard staff, but it also helps you clarify what you're actually looking for in new staff, leading from why, and then also looking at your growth goals and trying to incorporate those as part of your overall strategy for your business. I hope you're having a fantastic Friday. Here in Canada, it's Canada Day. Woohoo! So it's kind of peeing rain where we are right now, so I might put a damper on the fireworks. But nonetheless, proud Canadian, born and bred here, with parts from Great Britain, because that's where my parents are from. But truly a fantastic day to be living in Canada, and loving the fact that it's Canada Day. We are 149 years young and lots to come. Have a fantastic day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.